Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by our dear sister, and the message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So this is the reason as to why I stopped going to church, and this has destroyed the love that I thought that I had for God. And it is very unfortunate that as a young woman who was very naughty when I was still back home, when I came here to South Africa, I thought that I was going to open up a new page in my life. But unfortunately, I then met a pastor, a prophet, a so-called prophet, who totally destroyed the little belief that I had that Jesus Christ is for real, God is for real. I don't think that there will be anyone that will be able to convince me again because of the things that this pastor taught me, the things that this pastor told me, the things that I saw this pastor doing. So when I came here to South Africa, it was because my mom, I saw that I was always stressing her, because what I would do is that I would run away from home, then I would go on a drinking spree, wherever I would be invited. If they told me that there was a house party where women, they'll be drinking beer and pleasing men that they would find at that party, I will always be there. I was always hanging around I was always hanging around like your VIP clubs that can be found in Harare, drinking beer and prostituting myself. And I started doing these things at a very young age. But when I came here to South Africa, my mom then sat with me down and she said, now that you have said that you want to go to South Africa, please, my daughter, promise me that when you arrive in South Africa, you are going to find a church, a Pentecostal church, where you will be going to, so that I know that you are going to be okay. Because my mom was scared that with my behavior, with the way that I was drinking alcohol when I was still back home in Zim, when I come here, maybe it was going to be much more worse. And she was scared that maybe one day I was going to get killed here in South Africa. And when I saw that my mom, she was really stressed about the way that I was handling myself, with the way that I was drinking beer, with the way that I was sleeping around, I wanted to cry, even though I did not show her that I was also in pain. That was when I said to myself, young girl, this is the time for you to start a new life. When I came here to South Africa, I started staying with my sister and with my brother-in-law. So at the complex where they were staying, usually I would be getting your piece jobs where I'll be washing some clothes for the people that were staying there. I can say that life was really good, but I was struggling to get like a very good job. And I then asked my sister, because back home in Zim, we have this other Pentecostal church that is AFM, or Forward in Faith. That is the church that my mom had told me to look for when I would have arrived in South Africa. So unfortunately, my sister also told me that when she came here to South Africa, she had tried to look for that church in her province, but unfortunately, she did not find that church in her province, those two Pentecostal churches. So when my sister said that she could not find those two Pentecostal churches, I said, okay, let me just look for any other church. So in town, there was this other church. Let me be honest with you, I only got attracted to this church because one day when I was passing through that building where that church was, I saw that there were a lot of big cars, and you could tell that the people that attend at this church, they are only your wealthy people. And I got attracted by their wealth, and I started going to that church. Whilst I was at that church, I then gave my own testimony, and then I was told that I was supposed to be in the praise and worship because I really have a very beautiful voice. So at the time, the pastor then called me one day, and he told me that he had been impressed by me, by my voice, and he wanted me to become his own personal assistant. And so I then started working for the pastor. What I will do is that even though I didn't have a driver's license, but this pastor, he would send me to this other mall that was really close to the place where he was staying. So he would tell me that when I would go to that mall, there was this other car and there would be a man that would be waiting for me there at the mall, and the man would usually give me a brown envelope. So when I started working for this pastor, I would not even like open the envelope, but with time I started to ask myself a lot of questions, because most of these guys that I would go and meet, they were from West Africa. So I started to suspect that maybe this pastor was doing drugs. And then one day when I had gone to collect these envelopes that I'll be given by this man that will be waiting for me, I then went into the toilet at the mall. When I opened that envelope, I saw that there was some white powder, and I knew that these were your drugs. I returned back to the pastor and I confronted him. At first, he lied to me and he said that no, those were not drugs. But I told him that when I was still back home, I was like a bad girl. I used to date men that were taking drugs, so I knew that these were drugs. That was when the pastor confessed to me and he said that, oh, my child, I want to confess to you that I have been taking drugs. I said, how can a man of God be addicted to drugs? How can a man of God be a drug addict? He then said that the reason as to why he started abusing these drugs, he then told me that the reason as to why he is a drug addict, it is because of one of this other girl that he was dating. So he said that he fell in love with the man's daughter. So when he started dating that man's daughter, then he found out that this girl, she was also a drug addict. Then this girl invited him to try out some drugs, and that is how he ended up testing the drugs until he got addicted. He told me the name of that man, and he said that, you see, the man with all the money that he has, he is the one who takes care of me, who takes care of my wife. He even said that the house that he has, it was a gift that was given to him by that same wealthy man. So when he started dating that man's daughter, that was when he found out that the daughter is such a drug addict. He thought that he was going to save that wealthy man's daughter, but unfortunately, when he started sleeping with her, he also got addicted and he started taking drugs. So he said that he has been doing this for a very long time. I don't know how it all happened, but one day maybe it was because I felt sorry for him. When we were driving from this other place where we had gone to, he then parked his car by the side of the road and I started kissing him. That is how I started sleeping with this pastor. I think that I felt so sorry for him, such that I ended up sleeping with that prophet. And the more that I slept with that prophet, the more that I started to believe that God does not exist anyway. I then stopped believing in God, because I said, if God is for real, why is he blind? Why does he not reveal the things that me and this prophet are doing to the people that were coming to attend at that prophet's church? Because me and this prophet, we were sleeping with each other. Me and this prophet, we would go maybe to a hotel on a Friday evening, then we would sleep at that hotel on Friday, Saturday, then Sunday morning I would even wake up at that hotel, then I'll come to church and I will start to sing for people in church, and people would actually say that they would have seen that the Holy Spirit was using me and people were actually worshiping the Lord. But I knew that me and the prophet were sleeping together. Even when the prophet will be busy preaching, he would have slept with me earlier on. So I said, maybe God does not even exist. So when I spoke with the prophet about my doubts in the Lord, and the pastor then said to me, indeed, God does not even exist. You know what he told me, Brother Nashi? He said that if people at my church, if Christians around the world, if today, if they say that they are no longer going to give their monies to the pastors, I am the one that is going to say, okay, I have had enough with your nonsense. I won't be a pastor anymore. This is what the pastor told me. He said that the only reason as to why he started a church, it is because he knows that him being a pastor, he has a job that can give him a lot of money. and he is able to take care of himself, to buy the things that he wants, to take care of his wife as well. He said, if people stop giving me money, then I won't be a pastor. It was like, it is better to have 10 people in my church that gives me money than to have 1,000 people at my church that does not give me any money at all. So he started to tell me a lot of things about the Bible, and he told me that he does not believe in the Bible anyway, because he has realized that in the Bible there are a lot of mistakes. So that is the problem that I have right now. Even if someone would come to me and start to teach me the Bible, I know what the pastor showed to me in the Bible, and this is how this pastor destroyed my belief in God. That little belief that I had in God, that pastor totally destroyed that belief. I still remember that there was this other day when he called me at his church, and he told me that he missed me, he wanted to see me. So I went there and I saw that there was no one at church. It was only the pastor. When I walked into the church, he then invited me to the stage where there was the pulpit where he used to stand when he would be preaching. And he said that for a very long time, he always had this fantasy to sleep with a woman next to the pulpit doing doggy style. So he made me to hold the pulpit while he was behind me. Then we started to do that doggy style. So that is how messed up we were, me and this pastor. So I cannot become a Christian again because of the things that me and that pastor did. And if God was for real, I'm sure that he was supposed to reveal some of these things to some people that goes to his church. Yeah, dear listeners, right there was a narration of a message that was sent to me by our sister right there. Strange things do happen in this world. Please let us talk about this issue in the comment section.